Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I'm going to be doing a day 1 meta read, so if you enjoy the content, like and subscribe, and let's get into it. To begin with, this is going to be mainly talking about what's OP, what to avoid, what's been adjusted, and how you can kind of play around this. So let's get into it. Aatrox is gaining a lot more popularity in the top lane again. His resurgence is definitely coming due to AD ratio buffs on his Q. The buffs have made him really strong mid to late game. A very limited amount of power lost early, mainly during the levels of 3 to 5 is where you've lost a bit of power. Actually, it'll be like 4 to 5, where you start putting a second and a third point in Q. You then gain a lot of that power back when you pop ultimate, and you can use the bonus AD ratio buff on the Q, along with the ultimate's increase of AD, to really just plow through enemies and do a huge amount of damage through that. Of course, later on into the game, when you have these high AD builds, things like Stride Breaker, Eclipse, into things like your Cleaver, your Sterix, your Ravenous Hydras, if you like opting into that, will do a lot more damage. And in turn, Aatrox is going to be a lot more powerful within the current meta. The minion buff also definitely going to help him with wave clear later on into the game. So all these definitely really helping him find a better footing of where he wants to be. Investing into AD, of course, is going to be a lot more important. So high AD items are going to be the way to go. You're not going to really see any more even Shroud Aatrox or maybe even Radiant Virtue Aatrox. These items do not have AD tied to them, which will make them a lot less desirable. Playing around item spikes is going to be a lot more desirable, however. Things like Dark and Whip definitely going to be really cool items you want to get early on into the game to really power up your damage and get a lot of power through that. His ult, of course, feeds into these. Your ult will give you a increase of percentage amount of your current of your bonus AD, I believe, and that will then feed into your AD ratio on your Q, giving it more damage. You still keep the 50% increase on both Q2 and Q3 afterwards as well, so lots of damage there. Sterix buffs going to help him as a third item option. You can, of course, benefit from things like Hull Breaker, which got buffed more recently. Even things like Spirit Shojin might see a popularity increase on Aatrox. We'll have to see. But yeah, Stride or Eclipse. Stride Breaker definitely performing a lot better at the moment, but this is very limited data and going at 13.13. Eclipse, also really powerful. Cleaver, Shrouders, you can pick which one you want to go. Shrouders, really good for just straight up damage. Cleaver, if you're able to sustain fight them and then get that fully stacked up. Sterix Hull, depending on whether you're team fighting and you really need that tankiness, or whether you're just going for a split push and kind of wanting to opt down that route. And then GA, also really good on him. Ravenous is optional, you can build it sometimes, but those are the main things you're going to want to go. Moving on to the jungle, AD Shyvana is what I'm currently playing at the moment. It got buffed massively this patch, and I definitely recommend giving it a go. It is really fun. There's lots of build variations. I've been trying Stride Breaker, but things like Icemon do exist. This is Citrix build, who is known for being one of the best Shyvana players in the world. So there's definitely options there. You can still, of course, go things like AP Bruiser, AP Tank, full AP, really still quite good. But yeah, AD Shyvana definitely more viable because of this now. Worth the payoff, because a lot of Shyvana's weaknesses came from her week early, where you would really get punished for trying to just power farm through your jungle. You wouldn't win out against a lot of champions. You still definitely do have a problem of being kited into things like high range marksman running Ghost. You will get out kited, and that makes it really hard to play the game. It's why when running things like AD and AP Bruiser, running something like Ghost is pretty useful. You can run Ignite into heal heavy teams and teams which you can catch. You are going to look to put like 2 or 3 points into W and then max Q, so you do have that power of chase. But yeah, huge burst damage, huge amounts of sustained damage as well. The split damage profile makes it hard to itemize against you. Even when building AD, you still do a huge amount of AP off the on hit and the W. And overall, just really powerful. Lots of flex variation, and quite powerful later on into the game. So yeah, AD Shyvana, definitely give it a go. Might not be the best jungler in the game, but definitely really powerful and definitely kind of on the rise. Karthus is really strong though at the moment. This is going on 13.13 data, but the buffs have shown that they've been really huge. He's performing a lot better in win rate on 13.14, just a very limited amount of sample size. This is mainly to show where the power comes from on things like for the Andrews and the Rabadons. These two items really powerful on him, making sure you're picking up the Andrews and then going Rabadon second. Even over Shadow Flame, this much of a win rate delta, even if it's when he's ahead in games, probably suggests that Rabadon's just in general is his best second option. But yeah, he mainly got adjusted to nerf bot lane, and a bit of the mana restore got dropped off and a bit of Q DPS, but overall the 5% increase towards jungle camps definitely outweighs it, and it's really powerful for clearing speeding up your clear speed, increasing your duel potential, just in general, just really strong. But Karthus in general has a really fast clear speed. His huge amount of DPS and map pressure gives him lots of value within draft. He can just inherently do a large amount of damage off his E in team fights as well. Itemization, really strong at the moment. Things like Rabadon's getting buffed not too long ago. Medjai's being really powerful on AP champions with big ratios, people like Karthus. And yeah, Leandri's working really well on him. So overall, Karthus, really powerful jungler at the moment. Definitely play him if he's within your pool. Lissandra, mainly got buffed this patch. Might not be the best mid laner in the game. Things like Nico, Annie, couple of other AP mid laners still perform quite well at the moment. For AD, you're looking at things like your Talon, your Akshan, your Pantheons, stuff like this, still really good. But yeah, Lissandra, go Glass Cannon. Ludens has been better than Everfrost for a while. People still opt into Everfrost. It is a lot better to go Ludens. Your damage is really high. You don't really need a huge amount more of utility, and Everfrost in general is a weaker item at the moment. Liss has received a huge buff on her self-cast R, a bit more healing, just base, and then a bit more on the ratio. I'm pretty sure it's like a 30% increase ratio on the self-cast R, so really benefiting those high AP builds. And a bunch of quality of life changes, things to the Q, increasing the amount of slow on it, increasing the amount of targets she can slow on it, and a couple of other things there. Ludens outperforms Everfrost, and more AP ratio is definitely going to benefit those high AP builds. Good wave clear, really strong mid game, and huge burst with electrocute 2 items. Things like Ludens Shadowflame, Ludens Rabadons, Ludens Shadowflame Rabadons in general just provide a lot of burst damage on this champion, thus making her really powerful at the moment, and really strong against a lot of the current mid laners. So definitely play her if you play mid lane. There are still other better options, but she's definitely on the rise as a strong pick. Miss Fortune is going to be the premier ADC for this patch, along with Kaiser, who is also really strong at the moment, but Kaiser did take a bit of a hit with Static being nerfed. Miss Fortune really benefiting from Youmuu's Collector, Shoulder's Edge, Chivalrous Grudge, and Edge of Night, all being really strong on her at the moment. You can go things like GA later on to the build, but overall just really powerful there. Lethality MF is one of the best go-to marksmen. Really simple to play marksman, really good synergies with a lot of the current support meta. Things like Amumu, Maokai, Rail, Braum, just in general, a lot of engaged supports she really benefits from. Huge amounts of map pressure with the Youmuu's movement speed and points in W. And with other ADCs being nerfed, with crit items just continuously being nerfed, things like Gale Force, of course, gaining 30 seconds more on the cooldown this patch, definitely going to hurt that item, i.e. getting a minimal buff, but not going to do a huge amount. So yeah, in general, MF, simple to play, really powerful, good range, good damage, can struggle to keep up in 1v1s, but if you're ahead, then she's still able to output a lot of damage there. But yeah, mainly want to use your E and your R with a lot of the lockdown engage supports. Zyra buffs and Milio nerfs. So Zyra has received a bit of a buff this patch, especially towards jungle, but we'll discuss that in a second. Zyra's quality of life changes have made her plants feel a lot better to use, increase the durability of them against AoE damage, and increase the amount of damage they do against jungle monsters. So Zyra, definitely going to be one of the primary supports this patch. You're probably not going to see a lot of it though, because these aren't direct buffs, they're more of like just quality of life, which have ended up being buffs. But yeah, her jungle clear, also really strong at the moment, seeing people try and optimize it to the best of their ability. We've seen 3-minute 04s, I believe, with double smites. So yeah, power there. And Milio is the other one I want to talk about. Stop playing him. He got the Yumi treatment. Okay, of course you can still play him. It's more of just a case of this champ has been really heavily nerfed, and he's no longer in a position where you can just pick him and win games depending on like just being outskinning your opponents. You do have to pick him matchup dependent now. He's no longer just a champion who works with a lot of ADCs. Yeah, he's very conditional and kind of got the Yumi treatment because he was doing 2-1 in pro. Overall, but this patch is going to be an interesting one. Main focus is definitely going to be around jungle. Of course, jungle being really strong in its current position. A lot of strong junglers at the moment. Things like Eve, Diana is one I'm probably going to talk about tomorrow. Diana really strong at the moment. Couple of top laners. Jax has a bug going on at the moment, and also has been nerfed this patch because Shogun's getting a bit of a buff. Overall, be interesting to see how this develops. Arena also coming out tomorrow. I'll probably do I might do a guide on Arena, like a tier list, depending if people want to see it. Oh, yep. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you back next one. Goodbye.